Harden spoke to NBA investigators Monday about calling Philadelphia 76ers president Daryl Morey a liar. The league is trying to determine if the Sixers violated salary cap rules. Harden told the investigators he exercised his $35.6 million option with the Sixers in June only because Morey told him he would trade him if he agreed to the option. Morey announced last week he's not trading Harden, prompting the 10-time All-Star to put Morey on blast. Harden wants to be traded to the Clippers. Morey is asking for a starter, maybe two, and multiple first-round picks. Stay tuned on this drama. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is dedicated to empowering our communities by providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First Black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted Black and Brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show is called First Things First, and my first thing every day, giving thanks, giving praises, asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors, the elders, community, and let's go. We do have a lot to talk about. It's a Talking Point Tuesday. Every Tuesday around here is a Talking Point Tuesday. We're unapologetically progressive, and we like to break down all the spin, the things that end up between our ears that do not serve us. We try to root them out, understand them, flip them around, and do better. You are welcome in every hour, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. We have an app. Hopefully you have it on your phone so you can take us with you wherever you are traveling today, tomorrow, or all year long. It's at the App Store and the Google Play Store. It's free. Just type in KBLA, like black without the C and the K, KBLA, and then 1580, and you'll find it. Please download it. It makes a difference for us and makes it very convenient for you. Plus, you can listen to the podcast. If you've missed any of the shows that we've done, really going way back, you can get them on our app. You can also find them wherever you find your podcasts. Okay, so hour one, we usually do local. Hour two, we go national. Third hour, we do a deep dive with a person or persons of interest. Today, attorney Jaiye Person Lynn will join me hour three, and we can talk about updates on many legal issues, not the least of which is what's going on with City Council member Mark Ridley Thomas and the latest updates on that. We are going to be joined in hour two for this Talking Point Tuesday situation by a National Association of Black Journalists president, Jared Hill. A little later this hour, we'll get some financial insights from Janet Udochu. And right now is the perfect time to call me. Of course, you can call me all day. Right now, it's me, you, and this microphone. And I really want to remind you that if you know a person that is worthy of some love, or somebody who is either somebody who's struggling to connect with the motherland, or someone like me who's repping the motherland, and I'm doing all this because I have on a dress that I bought the very first time I went to Ghana, and thought I would never do a lot of shopping, but ended up going crazy like everyone else, and just really connected to the motherland in different kinds of ways, then they should be nominated to be inducted, meaning adopted by them and their family, adopted by an African family here in LA with roots in the motherland, who can then help them anytime they decide to travel. They have family there. Any time they want to have that feeling of connection while here in LA or wherever they might be, they can make that happen. These are things that we're doing to heal the wounds of enslavement, and it's going to take a lot, but every bit, every prayer, every trip to the motherland, every conversation, it makes a difference. You can go to africanfocus.org for that. We had a wonderful time at the African Focus Goodwill Awards. So I mentioned to you this Mayfair Hotel, right? It's near downtown adjacent. Me and Sherry Bell were talking about it last Friday. The mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bassett, asked for $83 million to buy this hotel. And that's just to buy it as is. And then that's $60 million. And then renovations, I guess another $20 million. It is a huge price tag, and some residents of the area were angry because they felt that during Operation Project Room Key, their neighborhood went downhill because unhoused people from all over were there and they were wreaking havoc. The mayor says it will be different this time. There will be permanent housing there. They won't have people running through, and there will be supportive services on site. I hope that they can find a way to work with the neighborhood. So, because this is not just NIMBYism, these are working class folks who are concerned about what's going to happen at this hotel, and even people that worked at the hotel. But I have to stand by the mayor in terms of buying these properties, because even though that's a huge price tag, think about the amount of money that the city of Los Angeles is spending to support, in some cases, roach motels, or crime magnets, motels, really, they're not hotels, that rent by the hour in some cases, like the ones on Figueroa. I wish the city would buy all of them, renovate them. Instead of paying, in the short term, it costs more to spend that $60 million to own the building. But in the long term, it's much smarter, because instead of paying vouchers and overpaying these hotel slumlords, who then mistreat these unhoused people by not giving them clean sheets and all of the stuff that we heard about. If you missed that podcast, just go to any place you find podcasts and type in motel slumlords and KBLA, and you'll see the show that we did. You'll be able to hear it with Jasmine Canick talking about this and going into depth about the way these motels really, are exploiting unhoused people and low-income people who are trying to keep from being unhoused, because they know those folks have no choice. So we're paying these folks, $300, $400, $500, $1,000 and more a week, depending on where that is located, for unhoused folks. And that adds up quickly. It would be more fiscally responsible to buy these places. Plus, then they could be upgraded so they wouldn't be such squalid conditions. And over time, that accrues equity for the city, which could possibly be invested into buying more such places. So I think even though it's a little controversial right now, and I hope that the mayor and the housing department in the city do what they need to do to protect those residents around the Hotel Mayfair. But I hope this is a trend. I hope the city, gets more hotels than you or I playing the game of Monopoly, because it's ridiculous to be spending taxpayer money to support businesses that are often crime magnets, that are often, you've got children and unhoused people with rampant prostitution or drug dealing or whatever else is going on in these places. And that's not the best option, I don't believe, for the city. I hope that I'm glad that the city council has green-lighted this money so that the mayor can move forward with this, so the city can move forward with this. And I hope it's the first of many. I really do. Some of these places, I think, eminent domain could come into play. But we'll see what happens. Maybe they can cut deals with these folks that aren't, that are advantageous to both parties. That would be the best case scenario. It's a great time to call me, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Extreme heat increases your risk of heat illness and death. Warning signs of heat exhaustion include muscle cramps, headache, and nausea. Signs of heat stroke include a fever of 103 or higher, confusion, and loss of consciousness. Protect yourself by limiting time spent outdoors, staying hydrated, and staying cool in air-conditioned spaces. Learn how to stay safer from extreme heat at heatreadyca.com. Brought to you by the state of California.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried new Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Taco Bell's new grilled cheese dipping taco is, it's completely new. It's got a fresh fried white corn shell filled with cheese and new slow braised shredded beef with even more cheese grilled outside the shell. But what makes it really special is the dip. It comes with 2 sauces and you dip in one or both. Red sauce, then nacho cheese sauce, maybe more red sauce. This is a next level taco situation that'll have you acting brand new. The new grilled cheese dipping taco. Get one on the Taco Bell app today. At participating U.S. Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact store for participation which varies.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Are you interested in catching up on all the latest entertainment news, trending topics, and exciting interviews? I got you. Tune in to The Raw Report with Robin Ayers, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I'm your host, Robin Ayers. Join me every weekday with some of the best entertainment contributors in the business as we break down what's going on, who's got next, and what not to miss. Only on The Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
How'd you do in Hurricane Hillary? A lot of people I heard yesterday, especially on social media, disparaging it, saying, oh, we thought it was going to be this huge thing, and it turned out to be not so much. And for some people, for a lot of us, thankfully, that was true. It was actually not, it was a lot of rain, similar to kind of what I called the monsoons that we had in springtime, but only one day. Remember when it was raining in spring and it was just going on and on and on and just pounding us for weeks at a time? It was like that, but one day. But for others, especially in the desert, it was problematic, right? Mudslides, people getting flooded, and there was a lot of rumor mongering on on the internet. You see the people saying the Dodger Stadium was flooded. It was not. That was a picture. I don't know if it was. I think it was the way that it was shot. But then Ted Cruz's dumb behind retweets a photo that's supposed to show sharks swimming on the 405 freeway. And this is a recycled photo. The reason I'm laughing is because apparently every time there's heavy rain somewhere, it pops up on the internet and it says, oh, this is Florida, like after there's a hurricane or a storm in Florida. Oh, this is, wherever it might be. And so it's been posted at least 4 or 5 times saying this is a different city each time. And it obviously, if you live here, that did not happen on the 405. But I think the problem with it is that the news hypes things up so much that the next time when there's a real threat, maybe we don't pay attention, right? Maybe we're like, oh, these people with their storm watch. Because many people were freaked out. And I think took the precautions that were meant to take. I guess now we're all stocked up for the next earthquake. Luckily that, what they call it now, a hurricane, because we also had a 5.1 earthquake the same day that caused not too much damage and no injuries, no deaths or serious injuries from the storm. I guess if you stocked up on batteries and water and, toilet paper and canned goods like we're supposed to, now you're ready for the next earthquake or hurricane. And I do think it's important to keep things in perspective and not go into panic mode, which means sometimes just checking the Hurricane Center or the Weather Channel instead of watching the regular news. Because I think, if it bleeds, it leads, and they try to make it as dramatic as possible so you'll listen or watch. That said, with the climate crisis, a hurricane or whatever, cyclones. Remember we saw cyclones, and I think it was Bell Gardens last year, that these weird, freakish, and unpredictable weather events are going to become more common. So it does make sense for us to have our flashlights up, our lanterns, our batteries, hey, if you can grow food in your garden, that's best, because then you have something that you can prepare without having to go to the store, your dry goods, your beans and stuff like that on hand. And not to just scoff at it, because I think this is something we are going to have to be more nimble at dealing with, since we are in a new era of our planet doing things that we may or may not be prepared for. Apparently, the Coachella Valley was hit really hard. There were long closures of freeways there in the Palm Springs area. Highway 395 was shut down for 120 miles, and people got stuck on roofs. I guess in Cathedral City there were roads washed out. Those roads are not built for rain. Obviously, it's the desert. And that broke their all-time wettest day record for one day. And I guess it was more rain than they usually get in a whole year. But for most of us, in LA County and San Diego and Orange County, it ended up being not that big of a deal. And so, I'm sorry for the folks that had a hard time, and I just want to warn us against being too swaggerific. Oh, we stared down a hurricane. Yeah, maybe, but it's not the hurricanes that they see in Florida. And the weather warnings, take them with a grain of salt, but you still pursue them. Um, so remember Larry Elder? We played his N-word tape when he was running for, was he running? Oh yeah, governor. He was running for governor, got the floor mopped up with himself. And now he's running for president and everyone's ignoring it. But I got 2 interesting emails from his campaign. And the reason they're ignoring it is because he's got less than 1%, right? And there's 1 million people running. So if you don't have more than 1%, they're pretty much ignoring you. So Mr. Elder, the black talk radio host who is renowned for being a right-wing tool, for being an extremist when it comes. I know he's your friend, Tavis, but still, because they worked together back in the day. And I've had him on a show before, but he's definitely a very much anti-black man. In any case, I got 1 email saying he had qualified for the debate, and it's a big deal, woohoo, I'm on the debate stage. And I felt like they were going to honor it because, they don't have Trump. They need somebody to, make the clown show entertaining. So I thought, okay, well, that'll be his moment to shine because he's a talker like I am. That's what we do. Put us in a debate. We're going to get in some zingers. We're going to get some press. But now, apparently, they're not going to let him on the stage. And the latest missive that I have received from his press team is that Larry Elder will sue the Republican National Committee over their 11th hour attempt to keep him off the debate stage, even after he completed and in some cases exceeded all of their requirements. He says that, their polling requirements are unfair, that there are all kinds of problems with the way that they measure who is qualified. But then he says he qualified even under the rules that they set, and he thinks that they changed the rules at the last minute. That is going to be something to see. Man, my voice this morning. Okay, must be the hurricane. Blame everything on the hurricane. That's my new strategy. I just think it's interesting, that this very folks that like to call us, by us, I mean progressives, babies, snowflakes, crybabies, are the biggest crybabies of all. He's like, they changed the rules. Well, maybe they did. But if you have less than 1% of the vote, I think it's likely that you're not going to end up on a national debate stage with the vice president who barely has, was what the former vice president Pence, I can't remember what he's polling at, but it's well under 10%. He said he got 40,000 donors. He got donors in 20 states, 37 states. He said he got 1% in select polls, which means you got less than 1% in most polls. And he signed the Beat Biden loyalty pledge, which they're all supposed to sign, which means that whoever is nominated they'll throw their support behind them. That's something that he who shall not be named has refused to do and probably will continue to refuse to do. And even if he does it, he'll break it anyway because he's a liar. And he let the RNC see his fundraising totals. All of this has him very angry. So Elder versus the RNC. Now that sounds like a lot of fun. My idea of fun. Okay, maybe I need to get out more. Today is the National Day of Solidarity. And so there's going to be a big strike action outside of Disney in Burbank, 2100 West Riverside Drive to be exact. SAG-AFTRA and the Writers Guild are both going to be in front of Disney. They're not picketing the other spots they normally would today. And people from SAG-AFTRA affiliates all over the country are going to be out there for this National Day of Solidarity. And we may see some folks from other unions joining this picket line. that's going to be from 9 a.m. to noon today. So that means they will not be picketing at Warner Brothers and their usual spots. And you can look on their sagafterstrike.org is where you can get information about which areas are being picketed on any given day. But today will be a massive one out there at Disney. And I would expect to see folks from many different unions walking in solidarity, because this is a big call out. It's a big rally. And it comes at a time when it looks like we are starting to see some progress in the WGA, the Writers Guild strike. At least there's conversation going on. That's better than expected, since we were initially told that the producers would not come to the table until October. It's better than expected. And, carrot and stick. It's an important day to have a big rally. My strategy, as I said, blame everything. Blame everything on Hillary, at least for now. But on yesterday, we thought that we were going to see the sentencing of city council member, supervisor, former CLC leader, Mark Ridley Thomas. But that was pushed back because of Hurricane Hillary. So it will now happen on August 28th. It was pushed back a week. That's next Monday. And part of the reason is because the legal team for Mark Ridley Thomas, for Dr. Mark Ridley Thomas, is located in San Francisco. So they were meant to travel here, and they could not because those flights were canceled. So all of this is postponed by 1 week. And I hope that week gives everybody, a wake-up call, understand how ridiculous it is what the feds are trying to do to him. Yeah. I mean, when you consider what he has, how he's impacted the area. I hope and I pray that they'll come to their senses, because 6 years is ridiculous. We'll talk about that a little more in depth with Attorney Jaiye Person-Lin, who have some insights for us in Hour 3 today. And we'll take up a couple of other legal issues as well. And, I agree with Senator Steve Bradford, who said that he doesn't discount the reality that Mark Ridley Thomas was convicted, but he says, I encourage all parties to consider how he has devoted his life to serving others. That is exactly how I feel. Former police chief Bernard Parks said he wanted the judge to sentence Ridley Thomas to more than 6 years. And I know Bernard Parks and his family, they're great people, but that's got to be sour grapes. There's no other explanation for that. Yeah. We are headed for news, traffic, and sports, and then we'll get some financial info when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. A North Carolina school district is removing a book from the shelves. The Catawba County School Board met for hours last night before ultimately voting to remove Out of Darkness by Ashley Hope Perez after one member brought up the challenge last year. The book depicts a relationship between a Mexican-American and an African-American in the 1930s Texas, but it's been criticized by some who say it depicts sexually explicit content. Now to the weather. The central U.S. is entering a potentially brutal heat wave as as temperatures are forecasted to soar. The mercury could reach north of 100 degrees for the rest of the week from the Midwest to the Gulf Coast. Heat warnings and advisories are in place across 18 states from Louisiana to Minnesota. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Warning. If you are 60 or older, RSV can be a dangerous respiratory virus.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. This message is brought to you by Pfizer. Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles lets you choose from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee. Limited time only during breakfast hours. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers, baseball's hottest team, are back in action after getting 2 days off. They're in Cleveland today for the start of a 6-game road trip. The Dodgers are 17-2 in August and 29 games over 500. James Harden spoke to NBA investigators Monday about calling Philadelphia 76ers president Daryl Morey a liar. The league is trying to determine if the Sixers violated salary cap rules. Harden told the investigators he exercised his $35.6 million option with the Sixers in June only because Morey told him he would trade him if he agreed to the option. Morey announced last week he's not trading Harden, prompting the 10-time All-Star to put Morey on blast. Harden wants to be traded to the Clippers. Morey is asking for a starter, maybe 2, and multiple first-round picks. Stay tuned on this drama. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event. Or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
Are you looking for a tax preparation firm that understands the unique financial challenges of African American business owners? Then look no more. Wealth Management Financial Advisors can prepare and file your individual and business taxes. They're committed to providing their clients with the best possible service. See how they make the greatest impact on your taxes. Find them at wealthmanagementlb.com or call them at 562-427-8877. That's 562-427-8877.
Are you looking to steer your career in a new direction? Driving for the Culver City Bus can be your ticket to a long-lasting career with excellent benefits and paid training. Culver City Bus is looking for customer service and safety-minded bus operators to join the growing team. Culver City Bus offers on-the-job paid training, uniform allowance, and health benefits. Culver City Bus are now even putting their money in your pocket with a one-time $2,500 sign-on bonus. Let us connect you with an essential service job. If you enjoy driving, seek real opportunities for career advancement, and passionate about making a difference in your community, then we invite you to join the team. Start your journey by submitting an application at culvercity.org/job. For more information, visit culvercitybus.com or call the live customer service operator at 310-253-6500. Again, 350-253-6500.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
And I do appreciate you every single day. I appreciate you. I don't want to be up here by myself. I always love to hear from you. 800-920-1580. It is my pleasure, though, to welcome in right now somebody who is an Angelino to the core, a philanthropic leader. She's got over Yes, sir. She's got over 15 years of experience in nonprofits, born and raised in LA, and says she's a middle child out of a big Nigerian family. Being a black woman born to immigrant parents, and having a unique experience growing up in South Central Los Angeles. She says it shaped her passion for giving back to the less fortunate and her social entrepreneurial experience. She has worked on a bunch of different charitable events and fundraisers, community initiatives throughout the United States and internationally. And, for me, it is very key that we mix our philanthropy and our financial savvy with our blackness and build. That's why I'm always talking about recycling black dollars. That's why I'm always supporting, and we here at KBLA are supporting nonprofit organizations that support our community and that, encourage you to do the same, to get involved with a community organization. At the same time, we educate ourselves around financial well-being and how to build that generational wealth. This woman is, a philanthropist, but she's also in leadership at J.P. Morgan Chase as the vice president of community managing, where she works with nonprofits, community leaders, and schools in places like Compton, Paramount, and Bell Gardens. Apparently we don't have her. We don't have her on the line yet, but we'll be hearing shortly from Juliet Udeochu, who is meant to be our guest this hour. I guess it's Hurricane Katrina. Not Katrina. Thank God it's not Katrina. That was such a real terrible disaster. We're going to blame it on Hillary. Maybe that's a conspiracy to make Hillary Clinton look like she's responsible for everything. So Barbie's was number one at the box office for a whole month, and now it's the film Blue Beetle, which is a superhero movie featuring a Latino hero. So DC, not a Marvel, DC brand. And it knocked Barbie out of first place, but still didn't do as well as they had hoped it would because of the strike, right? The actors can't be out there promoting it. And I'm sure this guy, Jolo Maridueña, who is the star of that movie, and I'm sure I'm saying his name wrong because his first name is an indigenous Latinx name. They didn't do as well as they hoped, but what do you expect? Actually, it was supposed to be a streaming-only movie, but they decided to put it in theaters at a time of the summer, the end of the summer. That's usually not the greatest because kids are back in school. But that's kind of wrong because this is their first Latino superhero lead. And, of course, they put it out in the end of summer when when it's harder for a film like that to do well. And then they put it out during the strike when the actors cannot get on their social media and do their thing in their community, which I would imagine for a Latinx production, Latinx lead production would be a big deal because the Latino community is still very, very underrepresented in Hollywood, as are most BIPOC communities. But I think probably indigenous and Latino, by their numbers in the population, are the most underrepresented in Hollywood. And it's got a Latino director, Angel Manuel Soto. And it's getting good reviews. But, welcome to Hollywood. You finally get through the door and then that's what you get. You get what you get. The fact of the matter is they're going to say, more than likely, Latino leads don't open action movies or whatever. Those are the kinds of conclusions Hollywood will typically draw from this kind of situation, even though there's all kinds of other reasons why, including the fact that there was a whole hurricane. Yeah, blame Hillary, because really people were not going to the movies that much, right? Not only that, I mean, at least here in LA, maybe, that doesn't count so much nationally, but not only that, Barbie is sucking all the air out of the room because it's a mega hit. It's one of those, once every 5 years type hits, once in a decade type hits. So, it's tough luck. It really is tough luck for Blue Beetle. I'm not a big superhero movie goer, and so I probably wouldn't go see it, but I would watch it in streaming just because finally a Latino lead. And I know you guys are going to say, well, the villain in Panther 2. Okay, but as far as a lead where you get to be the hero that's not animated, that's a big deal. And I guess the Jamie Foxx, Will Ferrell movie Strays did terrible. It's supposed to be funny. Nobody went to see it. But apparently this has not been a good time for comedies, which really surprises me, to be honest with you, because I feel like we all need a good laugh between hurricanes, hurriquakes, pandemics, and presidential coups. I feel like we all need a good laugh. Yeah, so I was in the Bay a couple weeks ago doing a tribute to my mom, and thank you to everyone who helped to make that happen. My mom, Diane DiPrima. It turned out amazing, and we had a great turnout too. Okay, there's a story in the LA Times about a week ago that I've been meaning to talk to you about. There are these robo-taxis. They're called Cruise. They're driverless taxis. And I saw them everywhere in San Francisco. So you see a person, the passenger in the back, and there's no driver because they're driverless cars. They're robo-taxis. And when I was downtown one day, one of those robo-taxis was stalled. Something, I don't know, something in the software, something glitched out. And it was holding up traffic. We were stuck in traffic. What can you do? You can't, there's no driver. You can't tell them to pull over. The thing just sits there. The passengers are stuck in the back. There's cars jammed up for miles. And this happened, I guess, about a week ago. 10 of those taxis blocking 2 streets right in the middle of North Beach. If you know North Beach, it's tiny, narrow alleyways, great Italian restaurants, bookstores, nightlife. But it's really, the streets are narrow. There's nowhere to park. And apparently 10 of them just shut down. They had traffic at a standstill on a major, major street. And the people in the regular cars, were stuck behind these robo cars, and as I'm reading about it, this is very common. These cars just conk out. For me to be in San Francisco just for the weekend and experience this shows you how common it is. Why do you care? Aside from the fact that it's just, to me, it's another indication of how much hype there is around AI and our so-called robotic overlords when they can't even drive around the block. Siri can't find African-American names in my phone book. Like, they're not ready yet. I know AI may be, a threat to the planet and humans and all that, but right now it's not ready yet. And we need to be concerned about it because these suckers are scheduled to come to LA later this year. Imagine an empty taxi, empty on the driver's side, stuck on the 405, and nobody can move it. Do you think we need that in LA? To me, keep your cruises where they be until they're ready. And clearly, they're not ready yet. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, it's Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 is inviting you to join us on Saturday, September 16th, 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for our very first economic empowerment event for the community. This event is free and it's powered by Caltrans. We're doing this in association with Rambo House, and here's Rambo to tell you more.
Contracts. I'm going to say it again for all of us small business owners out there. Contracts. Rambo House, KBLA, Tavis, me. Oh my God, this is going to be massive. I truly thank Caltrans for giving us the opportunity to focus on contracts. Listen, that's what it's all about to be a small business in LA. That's how we hire our own. That's how we expand our community is contracts. KBLA1580.com is for you to have a seat at our contracts-focused event. Contract Ready does it again. We had over 900 last time. So you guys know how exciting this is. And if you just think that you want to get into contracts and you're close to it, bring your friends out for September 16th at the Marriott Hotel. Listen, you know where to register. KBLA1580.com. Come see me. I can't wait to see you. Let's do it, Tavis.
So be sure to go to KBLA1580.com for all the details. We'll see you Saturday, September 16th.
I'm David Goldberg, a bilingual elementary school teacher and president of the California Teachers Association. As we start a new school year, there's something new happening in California's public schools. They're called community schools, where families, students, educators, and communities are making decisions as one.
As a parent, I feel like we're really valued as partners in the education system.
Community schools are bridging the systems of academics with the community.
The curriculum is designed around the students and their academic needs.
I know community schools are working. We see it in parent involvement. We see it in student academics.
We saw double-digit gains in math, English, and reading scores.
It's a more innovative, holistic approach to educating students.
I really feel like this is the first time that we're really seeing a system change in our school.
It's innovative, fresh, and they're already working.
We invite you to learn more about community schools as we come together to reimagine public education here in California. And that's why CTA brought you this message.
Support comes from Getty, presenting The Gospel at Colonus, a theatrical event under the stars that reimagines the story of Oedipus. Blending Greek myth with Black spiritual practice, the show follows the blinded Oedipus as he seeks redemption after a lifetime of tragedy. Co-produced by Court Theater, conceived and adapted by Lee Brewer, with music composed by Bob Telson. Thursdays through Saturdays this September at the Getty Villa Museum. Tickets available now at getty.edu.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
Yeah, so a little bit of technical difficulty with our phones, but we will be bringing our guest on as soon as we can get it together. It's got to be Hillary. I don't know any other explanation. If you hear me rambling a little bit, that's why. But we are on we're on the case. So let's see if we're able to fix that for you. Please be patient with us if you are on hold. So I was talking to you about these robo-taxis. The one that I got stuck behind in San Francisco was by a company named Cruise, but there are other companies that own these. I mean, that have these. Cruise, Waymo, Alphabet has them, and they are driverless, like a Lyft, but it has no driver. And there's a few of them in San Francisco. I saw a lot of them. They say they're going to have thousands of them. But apparently the Public Utilities Commission about a week and a half ago voted to massively expand these driverless taxis, meaning that they're coming here soon. And according to the city of San Francisco, there have been more than 55 cases of these robo-taxis getting in the way of first responders, i.e. the fire department or police department, where the robo-taxi just shuts down or doesn't know it's meant to pull over. And you think about the implications of that. It's so problematic. And, this is, again, a situation where you have big companies like Google lobbying the Public Utilities Commission, and here we go. So, for one thing I know, and I'm not anti-technology. I love technology. I would never have been able to be a mom and a radio producer and host and do all the things that I do if it wasn't for technology, if it wasn't for my phone, and, it just wouldn't happen. But I don't want a bunch of driverless cars out there. Look, what happened to Tesla? All that much ballyhooed driverless cars, what happened to them? We saw fiery crashes. We saw problems with cruise control or auto drive mode even when you're in the driver's seat. Clearly, this is not ready. And if the technology is not ready, then I don't want it. It's just like when they come out with a new gadget, I want to get the second, third, or fourth iteration of it when they get the bugs out of it. But in this case, you're talking about roads. You're talking about putting these big, giant companies like Google, putting their unmanned vehicles on the road with you or your kids or your grandma who's driving. And guess, if they get into an accident, guess who's got bigger lawyers behind them? If they shut down and you're sitting there stranded for 10, 15, 20, half an hour until somebody can restart the AI, who do you talk to? Take your complaint to Google? Ha! Yeah, okay. See how that goes for you. I hope that, yay, great. A driverless car, aside from the fact that it's going to put some folks out of work, and that's a problem. Actually, got something to share with you about that, because this UPS strike may have the blueprint for how to deal with such as that. The UPS, I shouldn't say strike, the deal that they appear to be ready to sign for the Teamsters on the strike that appears to have been avoided. They have some very instructive provisions. I'm Dominique DiPrima. Hope you're always checking in with us on social media, KBLA 1580. Talk to me there. And you're listening, to KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
Gotta stay fresh, my house shot with a rest bar.
Have you visited us online for the grand opening of KBLA.store? For the best in new merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store. Be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all the official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580.
Bounce is back.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action is the youth component of the impactful CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say Yeah, as they are popularly known, is located at 80th and Vermont, but serves young people all over South LA. Under the COCO umbrella, they train youth organizers, help underserved scholars prepare for college, and work with students to help them gain admission to top universities. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action fosters teen activism, where young people have led campaigns moving tens of millions of dollars to South LA schools and forcing officials to make AP classes available to students in under-resourced institutions. SCES scholars have taken part in the March on Washington, been published in major news outlets, and been elected to city council. Long before she was mayor, Karen Bass started the program when she founded the Community Coalition. To donate, volunteer, or enroll a student in South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, please visit cocsouthla.org. cocsouthla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up AutoSave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
AutoSave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
And we will be looking forward to talking with Juliet Udeochu from Chase Bank. They've got an incredible event coming up this week. We'll let you know about that. And we are going to have to do that. Hopefully we'll get a chance to do it tomorrow or the day after, hopefully, because really exciting event. And we hope that you would be able to take advantage of that. You know what? Let's go to Dee calling us from Long Beach. Good morning, Dee. Oh, we don't have Dee. Okay. I thought we did, but we don't. We're breathing. Okay, so I was telling you about the Day of Solidarity today and how we're starting to see a little bit of movement in terms of the writer's strike, with the writers and the studios going back to the table. And I think it's a good sign that we're not hearing the blow by blow. Well, the writers said this, but the producers said that, because maybe if we can, not negotiate in the press, we can see more progress. Hopeful that we are going to see progress. Glad to see people are hitting the picket lines. But at the same time, a report came out by the Writers Guild of America, the West Coast branch, that shows how the streamers, Netflix, Amazon, and Disney, because they have a huge streaming service, are what they're calling them the gatekeepers, and how they're trying to change working conditions for the worse, specifically for writers. And they say that they are actually using anti-competitive practices. In other words, that antitrust law should be applied to them, because what they're doing is using the lock that they have on so much content and so much of our eyeball time, that they're using that to undercut writers and actors, and that these tech and media companies continue to consolidate their power. They're buying up studios. Disney owns 21st Century Fox. Amazon owns Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, and Netflix, owns a lot of their own content. They are a streamer, but they are also a studio, functioning as a studio, and that they are monopolizing entertainment in a way that was never possible before. And what the Writers Guild is saying in this report, what their takeaway is, that no more consolidation, no more gobbling up of studios and entertainment outlets by these big streamers, because it's anti-competitive, and it puts the creatives that provide this content at a disadvantage, which is almost insurmountable. That there should be no more streaming services. And it ain't great for the consumer either. I mean, at a certain point, it's pay what we say, or don't see the content, unless you're one of these people that knows how to bootleg everything, which ain't great either, because that cuts the actors and creatives out of the process as well. So I love this intellectual analysis, National Day of Solidarity, and progress at the negotiating table. Hopefully that equals results. News, traffic, and sports, then I'll be joined by Jared Hill on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. A North Carolina school district is removing a book from the shelves. The Catawba County School Board met for hours last night before ultimately voting to remove Out of Darkness by Ashley Hope Perez after one member brought up the challenge last year. The book depicts a relationship between a Mexican-American and an African-American in the 1930s Texas, but it's been criticized by some who say it depicts sexually explicit content. Now to the weather. The central U.S. is entering a potentially brutal heat wave as temperatures are forecasted to soar. The mercury could reach north of 100 degrees for the rest of the week from the Midwest to the Gulf Coast. Heat warnings and advisories are in place across 18 states from Louisiana to Minnesota. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Warning. If you are 60 or older, RSV can be a dangerous respiratory virus. Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated